Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for your time and thank you for stopping by. Today's video is about SIBO Recipe, a simple chemical concoction that I do believe helped reverse my H2S SIBO when nothing else did. I'm going to explain to you how it works, why it works, and some things I've since learned that they have specifically done research on about how some of the components actually work. But first, a few things that I didn't explain very well and forgot to mention in my last video on colostrum and oral natural immune therapy. First of all, tolerance. Tolerance is the ability of the immune system to see, but not just to see, but to see and respond appropriately. Many of us suffer from immune tolerance, which is we don't appropriate the proper response to internal messages. Another condition that I also had that I forgot to mention was toxic shock. And another thing I forgot to mention is that I helped expose some specific tests like urine testing, namely urine testing, where doctors will tell you that you have a specific infection based on mere presence. So I helped expose some of those types of tests that are somewhat fraudulent. Not all of them are, but some of them are. Okay, SIBO Recipe. I realized I probably didn't have to do a mix-it video of this, but SIBO Recipe is 2 to 4 drops of zinc or 1/16 of a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of milk of magnesia. Don't worry if it's not plus, but generally that's all you can find if you're searching for a name brand. But it's better to have the original traditional milk of magnesia with no plus, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and an 8-ounce glass of pure water. Some immediate relief should be experienced morning and evening on an empty stomach, 4 days on, 3 days off, to avoid metabolic and pH imbalance. With the doses so low, it's not likely in the majority. Recipe 4 months only, and then only as necessary. If nausea, cut back doses in half or stop. Zinc is toxic in high doses and should not be taken for long periods of time. Do not give zinc to pets or children unless under the supervision of a vet or a doctor. The body needs very little zinc. Zinc toxicity is not reversed, so do not overdo the zinc. So SIBO Recipe, how does it work? It's basically, let me explain a little bit about where I was at this time. If you watch my last video, at this time in my life, I was at the point where I could no longer tolerate one more medicine or one more poison or one more toxin. I had also spent upwards of $50,000 on treatments that did not work and did not do anything, much of anything. I quit counting at $50,000, but I'm sure that the total was much higher than that. So that here I was at the point with no more money to have the luxury of trying supplement after supplement or going to another doctor and looking for answers for my condition. I was absolutely at rock bottom, health-wise, financial-wise, mentally, emotionally. All I had to rely on was grace and my own brain, and I could not afford to make a mistake. As I said, by this time I had a lesion on my brainstem. My SIBO condition left me looking about, I always used to say 18 months pregnant by the end of the day. That's how bloated my belly was. I was severely malnourished. I'm quite sure I had endotoxemia. I know I had tolerance issues. I know I was already diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, and I was probably looking at a second or a third if things had continued the way they did. And I'd like to say there is no one I know that was in the place that I was. There was no one I know that was facing the type of situation like I was. And therefore, I had no, it was worse than being between a rock and a hard place. I was looking at death. I was looking at bankruptcy. I was looking at being homeless. No one knows how dire things actually were for me at that time. So I had no choice but to use my intelligence and ask for guidance and seek the smartest people in the room to help me as I needed help. And that's what I did. So, okay, SIBO recipe, how does it work? Well, H2S, hydrogen sulfide, SIBO hydrogen sulfide is probably the most dangerous form of SIBO. Just a second here. I lost that page, but okay, whatever. Hydrogen sulfide is formed by decomposition of organic material. It can also present in the petroleum industry. Anytime, any underground working conditions. And it's quite a dangerous gas. And by the way, the antidote for H2S poisoning is high doses of vitamin B12. So how does SIBO recipe work? The magnesium creates a slow dissolved oxygen capable of neutralizing gas like H2S, toxins and endotoxins, and by reversing inflammatory macrophages in the gut to anti-inflammatory macrophages in as little as 2 weeks. So the type of magnesium hydroxide, creates H2S is also highly corrosive. So they're in road construction and things like that, they're always looking for ways to neutralize H2S because it corrodes concrete. It's highly corrosive. So magnesium hydroxide creates a slow dissolved oxygen capable of neutralizing H2S. Zinc is an H2S scavenger. And there are other reasons why zinc works that have to do with chemistry, but zinc works very well for helping to neutralize H2S specifically. Lactose, which isn't in this recipe, but it's not actual milk in milk of magnesia, but lactose actually prevents the formation of H2S. Baking soda neutralizes gases as well, and I am including a research paper on this page. Baking soda may be just what the doctor ordered for rheumatoid arthritis. After 2 weeks of drinking baking soda and water, scientists found that immune cells, macrophages, appeared to change jobs. Researchers said that macrophages began to focus on reducing inflammation instead of promoting it. Researchers noted a shift in healthy human subjects from autoimmune and inflammatory actions to anti-inflammatory ones in the stomach, spleen, kidney, and peripheral blood. The shifting landscape is likely due to an increased conversion of pro-inflammatory cells to anti-inflammatory, plus the production of more anti-inflammatory macrophages and a shift in regulatory T cells. The combination of processes drives down the immune response and could potentially help to keep the immune system from attacking its own tissues, which occurs in autoimmune diseases. And in this paper, there is a link here, and what they were looking at was rheumatoid arthritis. And that was my exact experience. Within 2 weeks, I was off the couch. And that's when I began to realize the dangerous effects of H2S and learned all I could about H2S, SIBO, and H2S. And one of my prime resources was Dr. Henry Lin from Cedars-Sinai, who I consider to be one of the H2S experts in the world. Since that time, Cedars-Sinai has developed a SIBO test specifically for H2S SIBO. And as I said before, it is probably the most dangerous form of SIBO. So you can go on my site and you can learn. Just do a search for hydrogen sulfide, and you can learn about the dangerous effects of hydrogen sulfide. This gas is detoxified in this small intestine when it overwhelms certain systems. The oxygen in the blood, it then enters and then overwhelms the liver. It can enter the portal vein, and I just explained how H2S is metabolized in the body and 42 different symptoms, many of which I'm sure you'll recognize from H2S. H2S can also quickly paralyze nerves, including in the olfactory system. So this makes it a dangerous workplace gas. It will quickly paralyze the olfactory nerves, and when you can no longer smell the H2S, it can quickly drop someone and even kill them. So H2S is a very deadly gas. It's a gasotransmitter. It's also been described as rocket fuel for cancer by some leading universities. So H2S SIBO is absolutely nothing to mess with. And my exact experience was in about 10 days, I was off the couch, and since I was already looking into natural oral immune therapy, I continued with that, continued with both concurrently. And then by the time I reached my 4 to 6 month mark, as I said in the previous video, that is the average time for gut healing with oral natural immune therapy. In my total treatment time, until all symptoms and all inflammation and every symptom that you could possibly have was reversed. And for me, it was about 18 to 24 months of oral natural immune therapy daily. What your results will be, I can only guess, but for gut health alone, I would expect to spend at least 4 to 6 months. Okay, everyone, I hope you found this helpful. This recipe seems very simple, but chemically speaking, it does what you want it to do in neutralizing the H2S and helping to reduce some of the terrible pain that comes with H2S SIBO by actually changing macrophages from inflammatory to anti-inflammatory and neutralizing this deadly gas. Okay, thanks again, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.